Master Reddit. Subscribe for more videos.
Watch till the end of the video to find out how much a cumulus cloud weighs. What fact sounds fake at first but is actually real? The day Michael Jackson's hair caught on fire was the exact middle of his life, to the day. How and why would anyone even come across that? I imagine it went something like this. He would have been X years old when his hair caught on fire. He was about double that number of years old when he died. I wonder how close to the middle it was. Math happens here. Whoa. I need to post this on Reddit to gather the sweet karma. A Russian luxury SUV manufacturer attempted and failed to use whale penis skin for their SUV interiors. Rubbed the seats and they got too hard to sit on. Aristotle Onassis has a yacht with whale foreskin upholstery. It is estimated viruses kill about 50% of ocean biomass every 4 days. 99.9% of which is bacteria and single-celled plants and animals, just in case anyone's thinking, wow, what do they do with all the dead whales? When compasses were first used on ships, sailors were afraid of them because they thought it had evil powers. Compasses were stored in boxes called a binnacle. I mean, that's like the first form of navigation. I'd be spooked too if a little piece of metal inexplicably pointed me to something. We're used to many generations of over-the-air networking, 802.11 grams, 4G, and people are still spooked by 5G. A compass should be hella scary back then. The guy who sang Peanut Butter Jelly Time died in a police shootout. Also, his brother-in-law was there trying to talk him out of shooting himself. You know who that stepbrother was? Fucking Snoop Dogg. This is some Albert Einstein copypasta level shit, but it's completely real. Orcas are a natural predator to moose. Explain please. Moose swim between islands or from land to islands and orcas annihilate them from below. Okay, so I absolutely love this fact. What happens is moose will dive into the water to eat certain vegetation, however orcas also inhabit the same waters, so I guess sometimes they end up as an orcas lunch instead. I've seen a funny comic about it on Tumblr, but I'll admit I'm not sure if anyone's seen an orca eat a moose. Ancient sailors believed that cats were magic and would often risk their own lives, even in an every man for himself situation, to save a cat from a sinking ship. All ships had at least one ship's cat, as cats would eat the rats that have always plagued ships. The ship's cat would often be given a rank and sailors would generally take excessively good care of their cats. So business as usual. The reason the world is ending is probably because someone forgot to feed his cat once last year. So that's how those damn animals got so cocky. Don't forget what the Egyptians did. There isn't a single bridge across the Amazon River. I'm so glad all those bridges across the Amazon River found love. God damn it. Netflix was founded before Google, don't like that. It originally didn't use the net. It did for selecting videos, but not streaming. That's correct. You maintained the queue on the website and they mailed you things as they became available. You paid a monthly subscription fee that was tiered based on how many movies you wanted out at a time. At the time it seemed daft. There was a culture of going to the store and renting the movie on the night you wanted to watch it, and returning it the next day so wouldn't owe extra fees. Who would want to pick a movie and wait 3 days? The model eventually won people over, though. Reasonable monthly fee, no feeling rushed because of late charges, always a couple things you want to see lying around waiting for you. It was actually a pretty great experience. They rightfully get a lot of credit for the streaming stuff, but people don't realize they actually revolutionized home video twice. Chickens are one of many species of birds that don't have penetrative genitalia. Read, cocks are cockless. The method of reproduction they use is commonly called a cloacal kiss, and you can think of it as chicken scissoring, because bumping holes is the grossest possible way to phrase chicken sex. Also, chickens are not a flightless species like lots of people think and are generally totally capable of short flight. Cocks or cockles is probably the best sequence of 3 words I've ever read. Inversely, bumping holes is the worst sequence of 2 words. One 10-inch pizza is more pizza than 2 7-inch pizzas. It's amazing the difference just a couple of inches can make, oh yeah. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Jack the Ripper was still active when Nintendo was founded. But they were just a card company then, correct? Yeah, specifically a form of picture card in Japan called Hanafuda cards, made because card-based gambling was illegal. Lyrebirds' imitations will seriously sound exactly like the thing they're trying to imitate. If they imitate a chainsaw, you will think it's a chainsaw. It sounds like a perfect recording. I like it when they imitate the laser gun sound effects. Pew pew pew. He's playing Star Wars. President Coolidge got sent a raccoon for Thanksgiving one year, but instead of eating it, he granted it a pardon because it was cute. Was he supposed to eat it? Was that a thing? To answer your question, yes, it was meant to be eaten. It wasn't that long ago that people ate what they could shoot. Things like raccoon and opossum wound up being seen AAR regional specialties. As we've moved from a more frontier society to a more urban one, we've stopped eating, even stigmatized eating wild foods like raccoon or bats as being redneck, backwards, uncivilized. It takes 2 years for a pineapple to grow. Have a pineapple plant in my yard. Can confirm. It's now year 4 and it's about to bear second fruit. And you only get 1 pineapple. Pineapples are similar to bananas in that they normally produce fruit once. Pick a banana bunch, then chop the tree down. Pick the pineapple, remove the plant, then remove the pineapple top and plant that. Have grown many bananas and pineapples. This makes me irrationally angry. The entire state of Wyoming only has 2 escalators. Wyoming? Never heard of them. I live in Wyoming and I've never seen either of them. Pocahontas and Shakespeare lived during the same time. Also, Anne Frank and Martin Luther King Jr. were born in the same year. Edit, and Barbara Walters according to many of you below. And if they were still alive they would both be younger than the current Queen of the UK. That doesn't seem true at all. And yet it is. That's amazing. The founders of Adidas, Adi Dassler, and Puma, Rudolf Dassler, are brothers. And their HQs are literally next door to each other in Germany. Edit, wow, 7K upvotes. Best dig out my Adidas tracksuit and Puma trainers. Adidas is short for Adi Dassler, the founder of the company. Every Canadian is allowed to get a free Canadian flag from the government. However, if you ordered a flag today you would get it in about 110 years. It used to be only a couple years until recently. Until the fact got out wide and far and everyone signed up for it. And it's the flag raised at the top of Parliament. Replaced daily. Okay. That made no sense till you explained that there was only one per day available. The 10th President of the U.S., John Tyler (1790–1862), has 2 living grandchildren. Odds are, there are hundreds of people with grandparents born in the 1700s, we just know about those 2 because their grandfather was president. Until pretty recently, we actually still had a few widows of Civil War veterans. In a room of just 23 people there's a 50-50 chance of at least 2 people having the same birthday. At one point my class had 4 people with the same b-day. Dinosaurs never ate grass because it didn't exist yet. Sharks evolved before grass did. So that's why sharks don't eat grass. During World War II, the Polish army had a brown bear in their ranks. The bear was really helpful to the force, particularly for carrying heavy artillery. After the war he lived his retirement at the Edinburgh Zoo and has his own life-size statue in the Prince's Street Gardens. The bear was on the payroll of the Polish army as well. Corporal Wojtek. He was bought in Iran as a cub by a Polish soldiers who were escaping the Soviets. He was later enlisted in order to provide him with rations meant only for the soldiers. A common ingredient in chemotherapy is horse sperm, of course listed under some long medical term. I used to deliver 100 lb tubes of it to companies that make the drugs. And Premarin is made from horse piss. Pregnant horse piss, to be specific. I used to work at a place that took in the foals of said mares. Do not recommend. Editing to add, yes, they were all alive, but tended to be fragile. Between being weaned early and tossed into a notoriously bad auction, things were not great. The real problem, to be honest, is that they were typically horrible little Frankenstein beasties, that it's next to impossible to find homes for. PMU mares tend to be drafts, just because they pee a lot, but the stallions are whatever's cheap. Nice babies pop up every now and again, but not because anyone is trying. The place I was at scooped up as many babies as we could house, feed 'em, vet 'em, teach 'em to load and stand for the farrier, and hope like heck someone might want one for a boyfriend horse or 4-H project. It sucked because anyone we didn't get probably went with the meat man. America has too many crappy, grade horses no one wants, and making hundreds more is just hugely shitty. Maybe I'd feel differently if it were a life-saving drug like insulin, but it's not, so fuck it. Pregnant mare urine. Marketing team was just phoning it in on that one. That ants don't take fall damage. Non-fatal terminal velocity. A lot of very small insects, bugs, animals have this. Humans do not, but there are some instances where humans survive. I always remember the Discworld explanation of how animals of different size would be affected by the same fall. A spider won't notice, a mouse will walk away, a human might break a few bones, a horse will splatter. Male giraffes will headbutt a female in the bladder until she urinates, then it tastes the pee to help it determine whether or not the female is ovulating. This fact can apply to certain people too. They might need a stepladder though. A typical cumulus cloud actually weighs 1.1 million pounds, 498,951 kilograms. That's a lot of cumulus. Just imagine how much the blue ones must weigh. Cleopatra lived closer in time to the invention of the iPhone than the construction of the Great Pyramid. Or that 1980 was 40 years ago. To me the 80s feels like ancient history, like it being 40 years ago isn't too stunning. The thing that gets me is that 2000 was 20 years ago, like fuck I don't like that. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and learn about more interesting facts from the playlist.